Alright everybody, we do have game 3. This is going to feature sHaNkY as Terran, again in the bottom left, and lefeu as Zerg in the top right. Again, it's Blistering Sands. Again, it is a TvZ. We're finally breaking from ZvZ just to go into TvZ for a couple of games as we get closer to completion on the preliminary rounds. So lefeu going to be doing, it looks to me like maybe 9 overload. He's waiting, he's letting it build up a little bit, up to 100, and we do indeed see 9 overlord. At the same time, sHaNkY going to be putting a supply depot at his ramp. Nice timing on that as well. Barely getting to 100 minerals before he does that. He's also going to be shift queuing over to lefeu's base, just to see if he is, in fact, going to be 6 pulling, fast expanding, or what. We might see that same bunker play that he did against Dinger, which wasn't really a factor. Lost some 100 minerals, but at that point his orbital was out, so it wasn't as big an issue as it could have been. This overlord placement could be a little bit better. If he's over the Gulf, he can avoid Marines quite easily by hopping over to the high ground until they come up the ramp to destroy him. The barracks going down for sHaNkY, and his gas as well, a little bit earlier than normal. Usually you get this around 13. You want to make that SCV before, just to have continuous SCV production, never to hurt your economy. That extra 3 seconds on the refinery isn't that big of a deal unless you're going for, you know, some sort of fast factory, fast Hellion build, or a variation of the 111. So sHaNkY's gonna be completing his barracks, and looks like after this and the next SCV we might see the orbital drop. The orbital command, of course, not the orbital drop. The spawning pool is nearly done. Only now getting his gas is lefeu, and has a couple things going on at the moment, but mainly they're drones and the spawning pool. We might see a queen on the way. We do have that overlord out, so that frees him up for it. He's also going to be placing a spine crawler in his base. This is good placement, but you might want one for Hellion Harass, because they do have 90 hit points and they're very mean. It looks like we're having a little bit of a dance going on down here at lefeu's natural. It looks like he's going to try and take it, but no, it's blocked by sHaNkY this time. Both players getting a few minerals, but lefeu killing the scouting SCV, as well as securing maybe his natural. Meanwhile, I don't think that lefeu got into his opponent's base. No, he did not. It was walled off by the time his scout got there. So he has placed him sneakily. Oh, that's an overlord. Same kind of build from sHaNkY, getting a barracks and, curiously, a factory very quickly. His orbital is out. It looks like he is stalled. No, he is now making more SCVs. So, harvester-wise, it's a little bit in lefeu's favor, but like I said before, the mule makes all the difference. And we do have a marauder out again, but we do have a roach warren in production, so it's likely that the marauders will be able to do a lot more damage at this point. The layer is now about 3/4 of the way done. 4/5 if you want to be more exacting. Second gas up for lefeu, we might be seeing mutalisks or hydralisks, or maybe a nidus in the main, which for all the good it will do is just waste lefeu's army. And it looks like this roach may have gotten stuck. He's letting him out. In fact, he did. We might see a rally point. We do, and it looks like this queen is moving out for a creep tumor. Good idea, especially since these roaches and the zerglings are very, very slow. There's a creep tumor. Kind of moves it out there. A tech lab, so we might be seeing even more marauder play as the reactor comes on the Hellion, and supply depots get placed willy-nilly around the map. Orbital Command also training up an SCV, and I like to make note of that because what tends to happen to both myself and other players in the tournament is that you just stop worker production after a while. Now this Evo chamber is curious, not sure of its purpose as it's not upgrading anything, even though lefeu doesn't have the money to. And It looks like he's canceling the spire that he is building and rebuilding it, losing out on a bunch of gas and a bunch of minerals. Maybe it was to throw his opponent off at the tail end of the scan by canceling it, thinking that he's going to switch techs. But we do have a push coming out here, and that's interesting. It's 4 Marauders, 2 Marines, and a Hellion. Meanwhile, the Roaches are beating on the back door, and the Hellions are out in front, waiting for streaming reinforcements across the map, 2 Hellions and a Marauder as well. The Roaches will try and make it back in time, but I'm not sure how effective that will be. The Roaches going out to engage, not the smartest thing you can do, as Roaches are horrifically slow, and it looks like we do have a little click error, maybe, by getting this Overseer. You don't want to waste all that gas and that precious 50 minerals. This Queen will do absolutely nothing against these Marauders, while the Hellions go to work against the drones. And this is bad for lefeu. It looks like these Roaches will come in time. A couple of focus fires here on the Marauders will help him survive, maybe save that lone Roach. And Dino leaves the game in disgust after seeing all the Hellions kill only a few drones, but still the psychological impact is huge. Like I said before, placing something here, maybe putting Creep Tumor a little bit over and then placing either a Spine Crawler or building like an Evo Chamber over there, prevents a lot of that aggression with the Hellions. But now, sHaNkY taking that time to grab an expansion at his natural, still making a lot of Marauders, got the Hellions, and this is like kind of a death push. The Hellions can kite and deal with non-speedlings, or Zerglings on creep, or speedlings in general if they have the pre-igniter upgrade. And the Marauders deal with pretty much everything else, meaning Roaches. We have some mutas out, and looks like the rocks are nearly down. We might see a Changeling drop here, as the Overseer, curiously, is over here. 2 Mutalisks are out, 3 are on the way. Or maybe only 2 are out and 1 is now on the way. I don't know. But Dinger furiously trying to repair his economy as sHaNkY pulls further into the lead. We do have these Roaches here going to be dying quite quickly to the nice placement of sHaNkY's Marauders. And the poor tank, as maybe, I think there was another scan that went down, or his attack spotted the Spire. So he's going to get Vikings, which aren't the best counter to mutas, but the speed at which they can be built is incredible. So he's able to start, as I like to say, blotting out the sun with a air sea of Vikings. And you'll see that they're not particularly effective, but they do have a ridiculous range. So he's going to be moving out, and I'm not sure why lefeu hasn't been engaging to deal with this a little bit more. He's not focus firing. It looks like there's a little bit of attempt at one going down, Micro getting away, but that's tough to get from a range of, I think mutas have 5, range 3 to a range 9, because the Vikings do have such a large range. These Zerglings, non-speedlings, are going to really have it rough against any units that the Terran has. And lefeu grabbing a curious expansion, and as if he read my mind, he is getting Zergling speed from his spawning pool. So, good for him. Unfortunately, that's all going to be negated, perhaps, by the fact that sHaNkY is getting siege tech. And by getting, I mean got. It is completed for his 1 siege tank. This SCV kind of, I don't know what he's doing. He's sandwiched in between 2 supply depots in a factory. Make of that what you will. We do have a bunch of Marauders on the field. Still hasn't really transitioned away from what the Roaches were. We do have a lot of Speedlings, which isn't the worst counter in the world to what sHaNkY has. He just needs that speed and needs the units in a lot more quantity to deal with it. But he is going to be denying the expansion that sHaNkY was trying to put up undefended. It's kind of funny because lefeu just got his up completely undefended as well. And these mutas might come in for a little bit of harassment, but 1 missile turret deters 4 mutalisks. Yes, it is true. sHaNkY's expansion is all but planetary fortress at this point for the mutas, which of course doesn't hit air, but planetary fortresses are notoriously hard to defeat as Zerg, unless you have ultras or about, let's see, how many do you need? You need 80 damage a pop.